Okay, so I would be lying if, however you feel about this movie, you don't see the opening title, the opening credits. You hear that music, Mortal Kombat! What's going on, everybody? My name is Mike Brown, aka Review King MB, and I am here to talk about and review Mortal Kombat. This was a 1995 film that's based off of the video game with the same name. And really quick, my history with the video games is simple. I grew up playing these in the arcades whenever I got a chance to go there or go to a movie theater that had arcades. I went all out. Mortal Kombat was one of the first arcade games that I played and really got into. And I wasn't that familiar though with the story, the backstories of these characters. They were always characters that like I knew by name, I knew how they looked, and so that was really enough for me to be aware of them. I remember when I first saw this film, I thought it was cool, just cool. Look, I was a kid. I wasn't even 10 years old yet. And then it had been years. I rewatched it in high school, and I thought, man, this isn't as good as I remember. The acting's not that good, and yada yada. So now, so many more years later, I'm rewatching it now, and I'm thinking to myself, okay, yeah, this isn't that great. The acting's not all that great, but there's certain things that I do appreciate and enjoy. Well, first, it's directed by Paul W.S. Anderson. I don't know if this is the first movie he ever directed, but you can definitely tell that it's coming from his mind. Some of the actors, you have Robin Shaw or Shao as Liu Kang. Probably the best casting in this movie. Liu Kang is a big time hero in the series, so getting that right was important. I think this actor looks the part and is good enough to pull off the job that he has to do. He's dealing with the death of his brother. He's trying to get revenge for that. Also, though, pretty decent casting is for the villain Shang Tsung, who is played by Corey Hikayuku Tagawaz. I probably completely destroyed that. I know I'm not good with names, especially foreign names. I'm sorry, dude, but you did look the part. You were menacing as the villain. I did enjoy your moments when you're sitting there on your throne and you're watching other people fight each other, and he's the one that yells out finish him. He's the one that yells out fatality. He's the one who's taking people's souls from their body. So as a villain, he did what he had to do. Lyndon Ashby plays Johnny Cage, and Johnny Cage is he's one of those characters to where I guess you could hate him because he's obnoxious and he can be annoying, but I really love him. He's one of my favorite characters because of that charismatic personality, movie star. He's a lot more interesting than I think some of the other characters in this game in the series is. I think the actor here is fine. He's fine. He's not great though. He's like I was watching this and thinking for the time period 1995, who's an actor that could have done a really interesting job with it? And I kept going back to Tom Cruise. Now, Tom Cruise wasn't the biggest action star in that time, not as much as he is now. And I know some people are going to make fun of the fact that he's small and whatnot. Whatever. Look, he'll not only he would have probably done his own stunts and looked really cool doing it, but just the idea of this perfect movie star who gets sucked into this fighting, saving the world type plot. I think Tom Cruise could have pulled something like that off. Maybe I'm crazy though. This guy is just whatever. Bridget Wilson plays Sonya Blade, and I'll be honest, this actress, I mean, she's attractive, so I can give her that. But Sonya Blade, I don't really think I buy her playing this all that much. She's here. She's here to look good, and I really think that that's all the reason why she was cast, and she was in a lot of movies in the 90s. So I guess in that way it makes sense. But Katana is played by Talisa Soto. And maybe this actress is part Asian. She didn't look Asian. And so I'm watching her, and I didn't like that she was playing Katana. I wanted an Asian actress. I wanted a more Asian actress. I don't know. I don't want to get into semantics on if she's Asian enough. I didn't even look to see if this actress was Asian. Christopher Lambert plays Raiden. And Raiden is a pretty important character. I think he did okay, but, you know, again, Raiden, I just... Some of these characters, this is what this movie, I think, gets wrong, is that they're just shoving characters in this movie left and right. Hey, here's that person. Here's Raiden. Here's Jax for a very quick moment. Here's Kano, who's just here as one of the... He's not even like a main villain. He's just kind of a side villain. Reptile, who they don't even explain who and what his abilities are. Goro, who, you know, he's just kind of here. The practical effects. I mean, I guess I appreciate that they went practical, and it's clearly somebody wearing a prosthetic suit, but it also looks silly at points. Just the whole point of this, though, is that there's so many characters that they're trying to shove in, and they're not explaining anyone's backstory. They're not explaining anyone's stories. If I wasn't able to fill in the blanks myself because of things that I know from other games or things that I looked up really quick while I was watching this movie, because I kind of wonder, like, what's certain characters' relationship to each other, this movie doesn't really do a good job of explaining anything. Things just happen. People just show up. Really... They say that the world's going to end unless you enter this tournament and fight each other. It just... I know that's how the games are. It's just fighting. It's nothing but fighting. I know. But as a movie, it's pretty ridiculous. It's pretty bonkers. It's pretty all over the place. Just the plot and how characters are brought in. Maybe it's a tough task. Maybe Mortal Kombat would have been better off as a TV show. Especially today. Today, it would be a perfect TV show on HBO Max or Netflix or whatnot. And this movie is PG-13. What? Who thought of doing a PG-13 Mortal Kombat movie? It feels a little wrong that you have these fights, you have these, quote, fatalities, and you don't get some blood, you don't get some real juicy goodness. Look, they did do a decent job at making some of these fatalities look fatal, look definitive, especially the souls being taken and one of the characters' skin going gray, and like, they went as far as they could go, but I still think that they could have gone heavier. I think that they could have gone even more over the top with it. But maybe the biggest downfall of this film is Sub-Zero and Scorpion, who, hey, they look the part, they look good. You can't complain about that, the designs and the costumes and the power set. Like, yeah, and you know what? For 1995, the special effects of Sub-Zero doing his ice frozen-y stuff, or Scorpion doing his fiery stuff, and his chain that comes out of his hand, and the get over here, look. Very nostalgic vibes of hearing Scorpion say that in live action. But, again, backstory stuff. They're just here as mindless henchmen to the villain, and they have a couple of fights, and they get killed off. I mean, it's just, wow. That's how you're going to use these two characters, these two iconic characters of the franchise. I thought it was a little lame, although the Scorpion and Johnny Cage fight is pretty good and probably the best fight of the film. So guys, look, I didn't mean to go off sounding like I'm ranting or sounding like I'm just hating and trashing on this movie. I think ultimately it's fine, it's decent, it's watchable. Anyways guys, let me know in the comments below what you think of Mortal Kombat the movie. Do you agree that it could have been better? Do you agree that it should have been better? Do you agree that we as fans deserve better? Or do you think, hey, it's fine? Or do you love it? Is it still, to this day, the best video game adaptation into a movie ever? Look, that's not saying much because video game movies, for the most part, pretty much suck. Thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe. Later!